Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Zulu's Painting Show. My name is Rob, and today I'm going to be teaching you as much as I can through my mediocre quality camera, my shaky hands, and I, I kid. We're learning painting today. That intro went weird. That's okay. That seems to be our MO. So, after much ado, we are returning to the clan invasion box. I have some ideas that I want to play around with that may or may not go titanically wrong, and I'm really hoping for not. Let's go ahead and hop down to our camera, and I'll show you what I mean. So we're returning to. We've got our Timberwolf here, which this new camera. Ooh, you can see those different purples. It's very exciting. See some of that damage there on the leg. I need to clean up the damage on the arm, but that's okay. And of course we've got our Grendle. Grendle? Grendle. Grendle. I always forget the names of it. So the canopy here needs to get some paint done. And what I'd kind of like to do for that is to give it sort of a like an aviator kind of look. A reflective surface that it has almost sort of a gold tint to it. I thought that might be kind of fun. A yellowish, goldish tint. And then there's a lot of these sort of heatsink vents on the backs of these mechs. I think it's a fun look. And I saw on the Battletech custom and painting group a couple months back, there was a guy that made these look like they were red hot. So I figured I might give that a try, see what I can do with that, you know. I'll probably play around with these vents first because they're right on the top and they're relatively small, so if I screw them up, I'll be able to clean them up. If I get those right, then we'll switch over to the Mad Cat. He's got the top ones, he's got these ones on the back. It's a lot of different places. He's even got some on his feet. So I'm excited to see how those go. First things first, let's go ahead and start with that canopy. Now, for the canopy, we're going to go ahead and just start with a good old-fashioned matte black. Give that guy a shake. Whoa. Now, what's going to be very interesting is the canopy on this guy, because it's tiny and really recessed in there. So luckily we don't have to do the black because it is already pretty much black. But it'll be interesting. We'll see how that goes. We're gonna probably have to redo those the kind of silver framing lines, metallic framing lines, whatever you want to call them. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and I think we may even start off with our character brush today. That's a small spot we're gonna be starting into. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and start with our character brush. Nice and wet. Make sure that our paint is properly mixed. And we'll go ahead and dive right in. So this first bit, I'm kind of okay with it getting on the edges because I'm going to need to redo the canopy frame as it is. Speaking of frame, I got to figure out where's my focus. Is it here? Is it here? Is it here? There it is. And then immediately I move the model. What I'll probably end up doing with this one is do it like I did the Grendle. And I'll have the canopy frame be the gunmetal. So have a little accent. The only trouble is it doesn't have the same sort of defined edges the way the other one did, so I might have to get a little creative. That's actually going pretty easy. All right. Nice. Nice black on there. Perfect. Actually, that actually went on quite nicely. Oh man, and now I'm going to put other colors on and it's going to become more trouble. That's okay. So, first color, done. That was quick and easy. And you could, if you wanted, call that good there. Maybe put like a gloss varnish of it. Maybe even not. Maybe the cockpit isn't the focus that you want on your mechs. And I think that's a lot of what I do with painting, and especially like with the way it is here. Like this guy is technically table ready. Well, I mean, table ready is whatever you want it to be. But he's got 3 colors on him. Like that would be that's a good looking mech in most situations. However, we can make it a little better, and that's what we did with the purples on this guy over here. And then I thought to myself, ooh, what can we add to add more details? And that's how we ended up getting some of these sort of scratches and some rust on there. We're going to continue with that sort of concept and really try to just add a lot of character and personality to these mechs. Each one of these mechs is basically their own hero. In the same way that you could leave your cockpit as that sort of black color, or you could add a little bit more sort of personality and character to it. But, you know, you gotta do what's right for your mechs. So next color, we're gonna go ahead and snag this XV88. Give that a quick stir. Should have stirred this before we started, but I forgot because I was trying to reconstitute my my yellow. It was giving me some grief. All right. The difficult part is to make sure I don't accidentally flop the model onto the palette. So to get the paint out, you take your brush, grab a little bit with the back of it, and then just roll it onto your palette. And my paint palette today is particularly filled with water, so how I tell when the paint palette is a little too wet is if as soon as I put the paint onto the palette, it begins to sort of cloud and spider out on the edges. So you can kind of see that there. So we're just going to dump a little bit of the water out. I don't want to get too much because I still want it to be moist, but not like soaking wet. All right. Now is when we're diving into it, and I feel like I'm watching a lot of Bob Ross recently, and I really like when he really just puts the tree, he just takes and puts a big old tree down just through the middle of his work, and it's just like, you've covered some of your mountains. Well, you know, sometimes you got to be bold. So we're doing the jeweling pattern as we've done before. So I normally do the light color on this side. I'm going to try, I think it's because I'm right-handed, we're going to try putting it on this side. So it doesn't look like much yet because just got that first smudge. Go ahead and do 2 coats to make sure it's nice and on there. I am getting that canopy line, but that's okay. We're gonna come through, we're gonna clean those up. It'll look much nicer here in just a moment. All right. And I'm gonna go ahead and start with this top one here, just the biggest one, the easiest one. I'm gonna make sure that the color's doing what I want to, and then we'll take that same principle and we'll put it on all the rest of them. Looks like we need to bring this up just a little bit. Oh no, I need to clean it with the black. So we're definitely in that sort of back and forth stage where we gotta, you know, there's a little bit of give, a little bit of take. I think this jeweling will be a little easier to see than some of the purples that I've done in the past, because my old camera did not like picking up that purple. This one I think does a better job at it, but There we go. Just clean that line up a little bit. Now that we've got that, the very bottom is going to get the yellow. This is the yellow I was fighting with. We got the Everland Sunset. I think I left the lid just cracked open just the tiniest hair, and it got real clumpy. So put a little medium in there to try and help it out. Just shook the dickens out of it. I don't know what the dickens were doing in there in the first place, but they're out now, so that's what counts. All right. Oh, my yellow and brown are starting to get close to each other, but I like seeing them next to each other. I think this is a good yellow. I think this is going to work. It's a little thicker than I'd like, but that's okay. And then for this final bit, we're just going to do just the littlest bit of yellow down here. Oh. And now there's yellow everywhere. That's okay. Oh man, this wet palette is very moist right now. I'm just putting on a second layer of the yellow to really enforce that color. We're going to need to put a little bit more of that brown on. This is why we experiment. So we can learn stuff. That's what we're doing today. We're playing around with different colors and seeing what kind of things we can do with them. There we go. Got a little bit more on there. Not sure how I feel about this just yet. Well, there's a finishing touch that I think a lot of times will sort of bring the colors together and really sort of sell the look. So the idea is that as the light is coming in sort of from the top here, it's reflecting off the top here, but like sort of shining through here on the bottom. Oh, let's go ahead and actually, so yeah, so the light's coming in from this side, and then it's sort of showing through there. So you'll have some reflection on the very top. So go ahead and get that reflection. I got some approval from the Ghost Bear, which is always nice. Oh, thank you. It is Clan Cloud Cobra. I don't know if that has an effect, but I'm glad that you are enjoying it. All right, so a little bit of white, and then here's the fun part. Just the tiniest bit of white. Yeah, there's still way too much water on my palette. And then you're just going to do a little dot up on the top corner. And ironically, the reflection that the actual reflection that you're getting is looking a little bit. So yeah. So now, you know what? It's got that reflection on it. I'm not too mad about that. I think it'll also clean up a bit once I get the the surround done. All right, so let's go ahead and get the rest of it. Um, yeah. So I was looking at the chat and clan grievances. Only if it's the jade turkeys and smoke kitties. What's I now I'm curious. What's your beef with the jade turkeys and the smoke kitties? I mean, the smoke kitties I feel are a little easier since they're the ones that lost, but all right. Ugh. There we go. I'm gonna do a couple coats of these, so I'm gonna go through. Oh, so this will actually be great practice for when I get to the Grendle. Grundle? The Grundle. Grendel is a different thing. It's so very, very tiny. Yeah, the more I'm looking at it, the more I'm kind of liking how this color scheme's turning out. Ah, it's Betrayal by the Jade Falcon. Ah, okay. That's the thing. I One of the things I really enjoy is just the sheer amount of lore that BattleTech has. Like, sure, there is a whole lot of fluff for Warhammer 40K, and obviously, storytelling is what D&D is all about. But there's just a bunch of books for BattleTech, which is a lot of fun. Oh man, oh boy, we've gotten to that fun stage where it's a lot of me quietly painting away and trying desperately not to make a complete mess. There we go. Yeah, I definitely need to clean up the canopy frame. Oh, now that more of it's on there, I think it actually sells the effect a lot better. Yeah, like with just the single one there, like it didn't. I don't think it really worked. But now I gotta get on a couple places. What's funny is you could the little reflection dot there is actually from the light, which is really interesting. Being able to kind of see what the reflection dot is like looks like in real life, sort of mirrored by your painting, and that's so much of what painting is essentially um, is trying to make something that is quite small look like light is doing what it should be doing if it were much bigger. The Falcon or the Jade Falcons, uh, looking being cowards. I like it. Right. I remember I was I took a handful of art classes in college, just because I enjoy art. Oddly enough, not for painting. I didn't actually start painting miniatures until I was almost done with college and not in art classes anymore. Oh yeah, that's definitely starting to look better. Oh. It's funny. It it's once it gets just a little out of focus that it looks a lot better, which is good because a lot of times it'll be sitting on the tabletop and thus farther away, and a little bit kind of better looking. So I was in these art classes. I think it was an art history class, and they were talking about there was a guy that had done a painting of a writer or something, and a critic of the painting was telling him, it's like, it's a beautiful painting, it's very nice, but there's something wrong with the pants. To which the artist responded, no, that's paint. Those aren't pants. And it's similar ideas too. Like there's that very classic painting of a pipe, and in French it says, "This is not a pipe." The sort of the idea being like it's not a pipe; it's a painting of a pipe. So it's always interesting when the sort of the world of the art and the world of the real sort of have those interesting intersections. And in this particular case, it is reflection and a fake reflection mirroring each other. Fun stuff. Also, yeah, now that I have it on all the parts of the canopy, I'm way happier with it. I think this is I think the little bit of yellow I think really works with this particular color scheme. I wasn't sure how it'd look, but all in all now I'm quite happy with it. Let's put our little bits of white and then we'll clean up the frame, and I think we're about done with this, which is nice. We're just hauling butt right through this, and then we can dive into the scary part. So there's that one. All right. I ended up not doing the little reflection piece on these very smallest ones, mostly because there's not enough room, which tells me my Grendle over here is probably not going to get, well, it might. It's, that canopy is so tiny. It's okay. We must fear not. Oh, I'm really happy with that yellow canopy. The purple and the green. Teal, I suppose? Keep this in focus. So yeah, let's go ahead and clean up the canopy frame. So I think the canopy, well, and here's the other fun thing. I need to make sure that I don't, probably use my iron breaker. I need to make sure that I don't end up getting the metallic on this nice canopy, because this becomes a sort of recursive thing where I'm going back and forth with the different paints. Let's see. Oh boy, this one's really separated. Well, here, we'll do this. We'll do a little beauty shot of the model while I continue to stir. Yeah, all in all, I'm really digging how that turned out. Oh, I think once we get the canopy cleaned up, it'll really sing. I guess. I suppose the question, do I like the green better, or do I want to do the metallic around it? The metallic around this one's kind of fun. I think that's a good look. But this one, yeah, I think it needs the metallic. The metallic will finish it out. So hopefully this paint is properly mixed. I gave it a good and vigorous mixing. We're going to put our metallics on our dry palette. Mostly because, especially with the wet palette being as wet as it is today, I don't want it to sort of separate. So if you get if your metallics get too much water in them, the metal flakes and the pigment itself, they'll separate, and then it'll do sort of a bit of a strange thing every now and then. That can be fun sometimes to do intentionally, but I don't want to do that this time, so we're not going to do that. Oh, bother. Let's go ahead and I'm going to grab my regiment brush, my metallic regiment brush. Let's see if I can not put my brush into my non-metallic water. I've been pretty good about consistently screwing that up, but we'll see how we do today. For this one, because we got these nice upraised edges, we're just gonna run it along here. Ooh, this is nerve-wracking. So I'm actually running my brush along my paper towel to pull just a little bit more of the paint off. So I really don't want my brush to be too full. I want to really be able to control sort of where the paint's going. Oh man. Oh, and there it goes. Just so used to using the water on my right that sort of forget the left water is even there. Oh, and there it is. I got a little bit on the canopy. Well, I have to go back and clean it up anyway, so that'll be fine. That's okay. Remember, you're not making accidents here. You're making... Sorry, we're not making mistakes. We're making happy accidents. All right. Yeah, I think that's probably... Oh, no. Just such awkward angles to get at. There we go. That's feeling pretty good. So then I just need to come in with a little bit of the black to... I don't even know why I bother. Just a little bit of the black to clean up where the metallic got on here, and I think we'll call that good. And again, just sort of spin your brush to get that point nice and sharp to make sure that you can really control where it's going. Also, again, you can use your own hand to sort of steady itself. So There we go. And it's nice and clean again. All right. So there's one experiment that has gone, I think, quite well. Now, for the next one. And this is going to be the really interesting one. So I wanted to play around a little bit with doing some sort of heat effects, for lack of a better term. So these giant fighting machines have heat sinks because each of their weapons produce quite a bit of heat. So you've got these vents all over the mech, and I saw someone else, and I feel bad I can't remember, but someone they'd gone through and painted some of the vents to look like it was sort of white hot. I want to see if I can do something kind of similar to that. If anyone knows who did, I think it was a Marauder they did the vents on, and it looked beautiful. So I'm gonna pay homage to what they've done so nicely. When I pay homage, I mean rip off blatantly. But I want to give them credit. I just don't know who it was. I don't remember. So let's go ahead and start with. We're gonna start with our dark color, our sort of bottom color. I'm starting with the chaotic red, just because I like that it has sort of a brownish red to it. I think that'll be a good sort of starting place. We're then going to move up to this sort of orangey color. We're using the Evil Sun's Scarlet. It's a light red. It's sort of an orange, and then we'll end back with not end. We'll then move to the Averland Sunset, and then sort of lightly dust it with some white. So we're trying to fit 4 colors into a very small area. So yeah, let's see how this goes. Worst case scenario, it'll be sort of smudgy, and I decide I don't need nearly as much colors. Gonna shake up the old red. This is going to be interesting. I'm both intimidated and excited to see how this goes. I mean, this color, this Chaos Red is a very pretty color. It's a nice sort of muddy brown. You know, it reminds me of what I a lot of times will end up painting leather. Because I like the sort of, I guess you can call it like a cherry finish. All right. Oh, I'm going to take all that nice metal and we're just going to cover it up. So for what I'm doing, oh yeah, we're gonna essentially the closer it gets to the top, the sort of the lighter it'll get. So the very sort of tips of these flanges are going to be the part that are the sort of the whitest. So I'm starting with, we're going to get this red color into all the gaps. Get that nice sort of reddish brown in the nice deep areas. And then we'll kind of go from there. Also, this is going to take forever with how long this is going to take to dry. Oh man. So seeing that Timberwolf at a distance with its canopy painted that way, I'm very pleased with how it turned out. Give that a sec to sit and think. See, now's when I wish I had a hand dryer. Alright. So next we're going to go to our Evil Sun's Scarlet. And you don't have to say it that way. It's just more fun. It sounds like I did put an agitator in this one, which is nice. I did not in my chaotic red. Disappoints me somewhat. So painting fire is always very interesting, because fire is a very bright and translucent thing. Well, semi-translucent. It's, I don't know, it's such a strange sort of thing to do. So like heated metal, things on fire, like it's always very strange. I have a fire elemental that one day I'll actually paint. And I like that it has a translucence to it. I think that adds to it the opaqueness of a lot of the paints, I think, doesn't sort of give fire the justice it deserves, I guess. I don't know. So yeah, one of these days, hopefully on here, I'll be able to, we'll be able to work together to figure out how the heck to get the thing done. And heated metal is no different. It has a glow to it, which we're going to try and duplicate using paints that do not glow. Oh. Well, there we go. We got ourselves some red right on there. That's okay. We'll clean that up here in a moment. Now, for this one, essentially everything that isn't the sort of gaps are going to have this red color. Oh, and now we have to decide if I'm going to do a glow effect on it. That's going to be tough. So, if this were glowing, there would be some color that would sort of bounce onto other surfaces. Ah, yeah, we got to do it. So to get that started, what we're going to do is just start with our color here. We're just going to very lightly put our orange onto here. And this is going to go onto the places that are sort of around our area. Okay. So the nice thing is, because I already screwed up there, if I end up deciding that I hate the glow, I need to fix some green anyway. So we'll just do it all at once. We're actually going to have this glow sort of go up this guy a little bit. Oh man. I haven't done a glow effect in quite some time, so this will be interesting to see how it turns out. Just a little bit. The interesting thing about the glow is trying to think of, well, firstly, how bright is the light that you have? So, like, how far will the light go? What things will it hit? What things will it bounce off of? And the other thing is I've got a second color I'm going to be putting in here as well. And I don't want it to be, want it to completely cover up my red. So I need to do my red just a little bit bigger than my... Although... Yeah, I'm going to need a little bit more in there. So as you can see, and this, you can see that the red has sort of gotten itself onto some of the other spots. You know what? I'm going to commit to it. The side of this gun needs to glow as well. Ugh, putting so much paint where it doesn't belong. I think this little boo-boo here might have actually helped in some ways. Because now that I know that I have to sort of clean up some stuff anyway, it's easier to be like, well, we'll sort of clean a couple areas. So what I'm doing that you can't see right now is I'm just sort of lightly running my brush along my paper towel to really make sure I've pulled off a good bit of the paint. All right, so we've got a little bit on the side of the gun there. We've got a little above, below, and on either side, and then a little bit onto the I guess head armor. Ooh, all right, we're progressing right along. Woo! I didn't realize how much I'd be really getting into the weeds for this. But that's okay. You know what? I'm having fun. We're learning stuff together. Also, I managed to put my my pinky right in the black, so don't try and wipe that off. Alright, so now we're grabbing our yellow. That is unfortunately already it's pretty thick, so we're going to need to make sure we're not getting too crazy with it. And then the yellow is going to basically go everywhere that the red has gone, but just a little bit less. We still want to be able to see that red through it. So we have this nice little sort of ketchup and mustard look going. Okay. Starting to get a little bit of a glow here. Gonna make sure all the spots where the red is, there's a little bit of the yellow glow as well. And using the same principle that we use for layering elsewhere, because essentially it's still just the whole reason you do layering anywhere is because you've got stop putting your pinky in there. The reason you're doing the layering is because it's you know, light in different places. So we're still following the same principles, just with slightly different colors and in slightly different ways. There we go. So we got a little bit of yellow on there. So we've really got a nice sort of red glow going. So it's really, really glowing. Let's see that it's gotten a couple spots. Now, for the final sort of thing, oh, that looks nice. We need to make it look white hot. Really need to make it look like it's just really glowing. So, luckily we've got our white already on the palette. And for this one, the point that would be the very lightest is just going to get the white. So that's just going to be the very tops of these heat vents. And it makes it look like it's so hot. Can't really look at it. It's sort of now it's really glowing. I really got some heat. So there you go. You know what? Kind of digging that look. Much in the same way that the canopy, I think, really added a good look to it. Once I get this color on here, I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. Now, this is on this guy. We've got the one sort of in here. We got a couple other vents that we'll be doing some heat onto, but we got to get all of our colors onto a single model to see if I've committed to a bad color combo. I hope it's no. Also, I gotta cover up this red with some white now, otherwise it'll drive me nuts. So for dealing with things like contrast boo-boos like this, unless you have the duplicate of the color, you kind of just got to paint it white and then put the contrast back over it. And because I don't want it to have sort of a strange colored patch, I'm just going to do this whole bottom part just to clean it up. And then that will get the teal back on it, and then it'll be good. That is a heck of a glow. I'm actually pretty proud of that. Looking pretty good. Oh yeah, there you can really see it. Yeah. Got a little bit of glow on the gun, a little bit of glow on the side there, a little glow on the edges. And then just that white right there on the tip really sells that, like, bright hotness. All right. Leave that guy there. Going back to our Timberwolf. So he's got these vents here up at the top. He's got these big vents on the back. Which one do I want to start? You know what? I feel like I should start with these here top vents, so that we can really see all the colors together and see how they look. All right, we're committing to this. Let's do it. We're going to start with our brown layer to get those sort of like in between. We're also going to have to clean. Oh no, we're glowing, so it'll be fine. I was realizing we're going to hit the edges here a little bit, but because we're going to glow, that is okay. These inset things are always so hard to do. Trying to get a good angle to hold and also show off. That'll work. All right, so we got our first layer, a nice dark layer on there. We've got a little extra head and back, but that's okay because I kind of want the idea of the glow to sort of be moving towards the back of the model. So we got our first color. This is going to be interesting with these being such sort of small, tight, hard to reach areas. This is going to be very interesting, not just covering everything. Give this a sec to dry. Oh, sorry about that. Oh boy, I beamed the camera. Get it back down where it should be. Oh, oh boy. I really got it. Oh, sorry about that. Oh man. That definitely gave it some time to dry. Alright, so now we're hopping into our Averland Sunset. And we're going to, again, we're trying to just get the sort of ridges of the... Trying to just get the ridges of the heat sinks. And also we're going to also be getting the outsides as well. There we go. And now for the very interesting part of the glow. This feels a little strange, sort of painting outside the lines, so to speak. The difficulty is, whatever I'm doing in red, I'm going to have to do an even smaller amount of yellow on top of it. So that's going to be a challenge. But that's okay. That's what we're here for. We're here for making interesting paintings. So I'm not sure what you guys are here for. I'm here to make interesting paintings. Oh. I started at a much bigger thing, and then immediately went to much smaller. So this will be interesting Just see how it goes. Because after I do the yellow, I still want to do white on there. There we go. Got a little bit of a glow going. And with that little bit of white. In hindsight, I should have done the little one of the little ones before I hit all of them with the red. Now, oh. Yeah. Maybe a little bit more white. I think we need a little bit more red along the edges. I think our yellow sort of overtook the red, our Everland sunset. Well, this one I might have done a little wrong now that I'm looking at it. Because the glow maybe wouldn't have gone as high up on the sides there. You know what? I think that's what happened. I think the glow came up too high. Because with this one, it's sort of out in the rest of the mech, so it glowing on the edges makes a lot of sense. But this one, with being inset the way it is, it probably shouldn't glow as much as it does. So, we need to clean that up. Yeah, that's... I don't like that. Luckily, we have to do this little guy anyway, so we'll just get them both at the same time. So now, to fix this, what we're going to do is we're just going to come in and just hit the whole outer edge with white so that we can go back over it with the contrast. And just to make sure it doesn't look too uneven, I'm just going to get the whole top part. Now, if I was smart, I would wait till I've done all the vents, but I want to show you kind of what the cleanup would look like. Actually, I think I am going to wait to do this. So we'll do the cleanup on this guy and call that good. means we need to grab our turquoise. Oh, for pity's sake. This tripod and this camera are not good friends. Sorry about that, guys. See, this tripod is just not great in general. We got a better camera, same bad tripod. So maybe that's what we'll work on before next week, is getting the tripod fixed up. So because we're doing sort of a smaller spot, I'm gonna snag the regiment brush to grab our little bit of contrast. Just snag that, and then just cover this back over. Now, once again, it is the proper color. And it's almost like I never hit it with the with that bit of red, which I didn't do at all, I promise. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna fix this guy. Just so I think it'd be nice to be able to see kind of what it looks like. Oh, see, now the hard part is I need it not to run into that vent. Otherwise, all the hard work will have to start all over again. Okay. Yeah, I think that looks a lot better. I think the glow will be appropriate in some places, but in this particular case, those would not glow. All right. Yeah. So we've got a camera that's pointed farther down than I want it to be. Let's go ahead and fix that real fast, and then we will do a quick look at some of the stuff. Hopefully it'll lock the camera in place. Right, hopefully it's locked. Close this. Mess. Alright, so we've got the canopy here with its jeweling effect, trying to give it kind of almost an aviator kind of look. We've got the start of some of the heat vents up here on the top. So that little bit of a glow coming from the top of the mech, which I think will be a really fun effect. Especially because the yellow and the red are so very sort of different from the palette of the rest of the mech. I think it adds a fun effect to it. And then of course we've got our glow here from this guy that actually hits some of the other parts with this sort of radiated heat that's coming out from it. It's just so much heat that's being vented out of the heatsink that it's made the metal look white hot. I think it was a lot of fun. Still gotta figure out how I'm gonna get that tiny canopy. But for now, we just got that glowing thing. So the other thing to keep in mind that I'm realizing just now is I have this little bit of rust here. That unfortunately the rust and the thing look very similar to each other. So I might play around with that to try and make it not look like the rust is glow. I need to just put some more orange into it. Well, then also we got the canopy. I might take the rust out. I don't know. I kind of like the rust. We'll have to experiment. But all in all, I'm very satisfied with our progress today. We've got the heat sinks are doing their job. We've got the canopy doing its job, looking like a canopy. Nice jewel effect. We got the start of those glowing heat sinks, which I think this will be a lot of fun. But yeah, all in all, today was a good paint day. I hope all of you enjoyed yourselves. I hope this was helpful. When we return next week, I'm not sure what we'll be doing next week. We'll play it by ear, but glad you could join. Have a wonderful time painting, and we will see you next time. Bye.